Was the only civilian to die in the battle, and she died in the kitchen of this home. But she never lived in this house. She lived on Breckenridge Street, which is over that way, towards the center of town. She lived there with her mother, younger brother, and a crippled boy that the family took care of. It was her sister, Georgia McClellan, that rented this side of the house. This is a double house. Today we call them duplexes. There's a brick wall that divides this house in half, and you couldn't get back and forth in the house, but today we can do that. And the only way you got in the cellar was to use the outside doors. There's a set here, there's a set on the other side of the house. That does become crucial during the battle, as you will see. Also, we're on the south end of town, and this was really the outer fringes of town. We had the graveyard at the top of the hill, the Evergreen, and Jenny happens to be buried in that graveyard, so she's not far away. And today we also have the National Cemetery below that. The Confederates ended up 2 blocks from this house. They were at the base of the hill, and where the hotel is, that was just an open field. So they're shooting at Union soldiers here. You can see where bullets hit the bricks of the house. You can see where bullets penetrated the door. The bullet that killed Jenny entered the door right there. And whoever fired that bullet did not know they took the life of a 20-year-old woman. And we're going to go inside.
Your mom can see it.
Come in here. This is an image of Mary Virginia Wade, known as Jenny. She was 18 years old when that image was made, and she died at 20 years, 2 months in the kitchen here. But even though Jenny died in this house, as I mentioned, she didn't live here. Georgia, her sister, was expecting a child, and that is why the bed is in the parlor. They brought it down here so she wouldn't have to navigate the stairs. And this is the exact position the bed was in. And as was the custom, she did give birth to a boy named Lewis in this room. However, she does that only 5 days before the battle. And now Georgia is too weak to get out of bed. So Mom comes over to take care of them, and that leaves Jenny alone with 2 little boys. And a few days later, the Confederates break into town from the north, which is that direction over there. And Jenny is right in line of the invasion, so it does not take her long to become terrified, and she brings the boys over here trying to get away from the Confederates and be with her family. But the Confederates are heading this way as well. They are driving the Union soldiers out of town, and by late the first day, the Confederates are at the bottom of the hill here. The Union soldiers are almost in a rout. They're filling up Baltimore Street in just a confused mess. They're trying to find their units. They're getting shot at, and they're desperately regrouping on Cemetery Hill above us. The Confederates just stay where they are and reinforce their battle line. And once the Union soldiers regroup, they come down the hill and the fighting starts again. But the Union soldiers can get no further than this home. So for them, it's a fort. Union soldiers hid behind the south wall of this building. They came around the front and they skirmished out here. And this poor family ends up in the worst place they can be. They are now on a Union battle line, facing a Confederate one. And their only hope is that it would stop. And they thought it is going to stop in a matter of hours, because Civil War battles last one day. So it's not going to be much longer. But of course here they go for 3 days, and nobody was prepared for that. That was unheard of. 3 days later, they're still dodging bullets. That makes it all the more remarkable that everybody in here did not join Jenny. You can see right here where a bullet hit the fireplace. Over here, the trim was torn off. Over there is a lead bullet still embedded in the mantle. And the mother and child, 5-day-old baby right here. Now these walls were hit, that's been repaired so we no longer see it. But every pane of glass was shot out on the north side of this house before it was over with. There's a bullet strike in the center of that window frame, right there. And every door in the kitchen has bullet holes in it. Georgia wrote about laying on the bed and feeling the heat of a mini ball as it went past her skull. And this is the kind of bullet we're talking about. It's an ounce of lead. Huge bullet. It's like a 500 grain bullet. And bullets like that were going past a 5-day-old baby. So how the heck did these people survive? They could not tell you, but they did. Jenni did it. So we're going to go in the kitchen and talk about Jenni.
This is crazy, isn't it?
Just visualize it, you know.
Just think of the fear. I'm getting something.
So Jenni died in this corner. She had the parlor door propped like this because she was using it to protect her back, which it didn't do. And as he showed, the bullet came through that door and across the room through here, and then it struck Jenni. She was kneading dough in this box. This is what we call a dough box. And this is the actual box that Jenni was using. It was given to the home by her sister Georgia in 1911. That's what the plaque is about. So we've had it for over a century. People have been coming in here to hear the story since 1904. And we like to remind people that we consider Jenni to be a heroine because she did die trying to feed these soldiers. And of course, the moment they were not fighting, it was all about food. But more importantly, it was about water with a capital W. Water was like gold. They needed it all the time. Every well was used around the clock. And why would it not be? These guys are wearing wool from head to foot in the middle of summer. They got 9-pound rifles. They got backpacks. And nobody chauffeured them to the battle. They had to march. How far did they march? Some of these units marched over 100 miles just to get here. And then get in a fight, you know? And they didn't march in fresh air. They marched in dust clouds all day long unless it was raining. So they're parched. And if they run out of water, they're going to go down. It's going to be heat stroke. So Jenni's getting water from the well in the back, which is still there, by the way. She's bringing buckets of water to the front yard so the Union soldiers can fill their canteens as they are retreating. But she's at risk to do that. And at one point, the Ohio Cavalry stops out here. So now we're dealing with horses. And she's bringing buckets of water so they can get water to their horses. How many gallons of water could one horse go through? Well, in a battle like this, when they're being pushed like the way they were unto death sometimes, 30 gallons, maybe even more. Some horses would be probably down 40 gallons. Now I guarantee you if a horse did that normally, it would probably kill it. But they needed that water. And if you exercise a horse today, you might give it 20 gallons. But if you're giving it 30, you're probably driving it too far, too much. And as the battle gets worse, they hear the cries of the wounded right beyond that wall. You had wounded soldiers all over the hill where the hotel is today. Nobody's helping them. They have to sit here. It's too dangerous. They have to sit here and listen to the cries of those wounded for water hour upon hour all day long. And nothing is happening. So by dusk, that was too much for Jenni. As it would be for most anybody. So she got food and water and she went out on the hill, and it's safe to say she saved some lives. You know, those soldiers certainly remembered her. And one of the soldiers kept the cup she gave him water, and he kept it for the rest of his life, always remembering that she helped him. But why am I not telling you she died out there? Because she's wandering around between battle lines at night. I think that's about the most dangerous thing I can think of. Yeah. And some